we are getting you first satellite images of Chinese troops' disengagement in Ladakh. Following the announcement, a new patrolling arrangement with China is now being settled. Satellite images reviewed by India today confirm that the initial disengagement activities on the ground in Dispang and Demchuk in eastern Ladakh has begun. The latest satellite images, which were taken on Friday, showed a reduction in the structures at multiple locations, signaling a potential end to the prolonged standoff that is taking place between India and China. Substantial PLA structures remain in the region, underscoring the scale of the presence during the standoff. Both the sides expect the disengagement process to continue for the next few days. The images that you are seeing on your screens, the first image was of the 9th of October and the second image that you are seeing is from the 26th of October. Substantial reduction in the number of tents that were put up on the Chinese side, and satellite images have now confirmed that the initial disengagement activity on the ground has begun. These are the latest satellite images. We are showing you a reduction in the structures at multiple locations, and this actually is signaling a potential end to the prolonged standoff that was taking place between India and China. But what's very interesting to note in these pictures is the fact that there is still very substantial PLA structures which are remaining on the region, underscoring the scale of the presence that they had during the standoff. Both the sides are expected that the disengagement process will conclude within the next few days. A number of structures have been dismantled, but there are still many structures which remain. So that process will take a couple of days to get completed. It is India and China. After several rounds of talks, several disengagements, finally, the disengagement has begun. Now, this is the retreatment that you are seeing at the line of actual control. And these are the first satellite images. Now, there was an announcement which was made both by India and by China, and they had agreed that the disengagement will begin. And now, in the visuals, we are getting you the latest satellite images. You'll be able to see from the 9th of October till the 26th of October, over the past 15 days, this engagement has begun. And the number of structures that the Chinese side had put up, those structures have now reduced drastically. Complete disengagement will still take some time, but the process has begun. These are the latest satellite images showing a reduction in the structures, not just at one location, but at multiple locations. And this actually is a signal that this could lead to a potential end to the prolonged standoff that was taking place between India and China. My colleague Gaurav is now joining me on the story. Gaurav, this is a good sign, but what's very important to note, Gaurav, and we can very clearly see it in the satellite images, some of the structures have been dismantled, but Gaurav, a lot of structures still remain.
Aishwarya, you're right, and that's the big challenge that India faces. India today has accessed these satellite images that exist. And what exists there now, both in Depsang and Demchok, the before and after pictures, they very clearly show. So, for example, in Depsang, the 14th August picture very clearly shows the extent of deployment of the Chinese troops in Depsang, like Chinese.
We'll try and reconnect with my colleague Gaurav. Now, after marathon talks and several disengagements, we have now seen India and China have finally begun the process of removing their structures from the line of actual control. Now, it was 4 years after the deadly Galwan clash. Troops from both the sides have now started to retreat from two of the friction points. Sources have told India today the disengagement will get completed in the next 3 to 4 days.